Can I ask you something? When you look in the mirror, do you see someone the world believes in or someone the world doubts? See, I grew up in a world that told me I was nothing. Poor black kid from Louisville, couldn't read right because of my dyslexia, teachers thought I was stupid, lived in a place where I couldn't even drink from the same water fountain as white folks. Everything around me said, you ain't special. But here's what I learned, and this is what I'm going to share with you today. Confidence don't come from the world believing in you. It comes from you believing in you when the whole world says you're wrong. I became the heavyweight champion of the world 3 times. And I started with nothing but a feeling in my heart that I was meant for something special. Let me tell you what you're about to get from spending this time with me. You're sitting there right now, and maybe you're dealing with some of the same things I dealt with. Maybe you look around and everybody seems more confident than you. Maybe you open your mouth and the words don't come out right. Maybe you got dreams, but you're scared to even speak them out loud because people might laugh at you. Maybe you come from nothing. No money, no connections, nobody believing in you. Maybe the world has told you that people like you don't make it to the top. Maybe you've been knocked down so many times you're wondering if you should just stay down. I know that feeling. I lived that feeling. See, most people think confidence is something you either got or you don't. Like it's a gift from God that some people receive and others don't. That's a lie. Confidence is something you build, brick by brick, day by day, through faith, through work, through standing up, even when you're shaking inside. Here's what makes what I'm about to teach you different from all that other motivational talk you've heard. I ain't gonna give you some psychology from a textbook. I ain't gonna quote some philosopher you never heard of. Everything I'm about to share with you comes from my life. From growing up poor in a segregated city, from having a learning disability when nobody even knew what that was, from losing everything I worked for when I stood up for my beliefs, from getting it all back because I refused to quit. I'm going to give you the truth. Not the pretty version, the real version. Here's what you'll walk away with. You're going to understand where real confidence comes from, and it ain't from being perfect or having everything figured out. You're going to learn the practices I used every single day to build belief in myself when nobody else believed. You're going to see how faith, real faith, not just Sunday morning faith, became the foundation of everything. You're going to discover how to turn your biggest weaknesses into your greatest strengths. And most important, you're going to learn how to stand alone when you have to, because real confidence means you can stand by yourself and not fall. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. Building confidence ain't easy. If it was easy, everybody would have it. I'm not going to promise you shortcuts. There are no shortcuts, only hard work and faith. I'm not going to teach you how to fake it. Fake confidence crumbles the first time you get tested. What makes me qualified to teach you this? I'm not qualified because I won fights. Plenty of fighters won fights. I'm qualified because I built something that couldn't be taken away. They took my title. They took my license to fight. They took my passport. They took away the best years of my career. But they couldn't take my confidence. They couldn't take my dignity. They couldn't take who I was inside. That's the kind of confidence I'm going to teach you to build. So if you're ready to do this work, stay with me. The next 37 minutes might change how you see yourself forever. Let me take you back to where it all started. Not the boxing, before the boxing. Because you can't understand how I built confidence without understanding what I had to build it from. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, in the 1950s. My daddy, Cassius Clay Sr., we called him Cash, he painted signs for a living. Made a few dollars here and there. My mama, Odessa, we called her Mama Bird. She was a domestic worker, sometimes cleaning houses, sometimes cooking. We were poor, but we were rich in love. But here's what you need to understand about that time and place. I couldn't walk into any restaurant I wanted, couldn't drink from any water fountain. There were signs everywhere, whites only, no coloreds allowed. My brother Rudy and we'd be playing in the neighborhood, and sometimes we'd wander too far, and white kids would call us nigger and chase us away. This was normal. This was just how things were. I remember my mama telling me about a time when I was real young, too young to remember myself. We were at a bus stop, and it was hot, and I was thirsty. She walked me up to a little diner to ask for a cup of water for her son. They wouldn't give it to us, turned us away, because of the color of our skin. Now imagine growing up like that. Imagine the world around you saying, every single day, you are less than. You don't matter. You will never be equal. How do you build confidence in that kind of world? My mother once told me something that I didn't understand until years later. She said, "Your confidence in yourself makes me believe in myself." I thought that was backwards. I thought it was her confidence in me that made me believe in myself, but she was right and I was wrong. See, what my mother understood was this: she couldn't give me confidence. Nobody can give you confidence. But she could show me what it looked like to believe in something even when the world told you not to. She showed me dignity. She showed me how to hold your head up even when people try to push it down. She showed me how to love people even when they don't love you back. My daddy, Cash, he showed me something too. He worked hard, real hard, painting signs, doing whatever he could to take care of us. He had pride. Even when he didn't have much money, he had pride in himself and pride in his family. Between the two of them, they gave me a foundation. Not a foundation of money or connections or privilege, a foundation of belief, a foundation of dignity, a foundation of faith. That was my starting point. And from the very beginning, I had this feeling, I can't explain it exactly, that I was meant for something special. I would wake up in the middle of the night when I was 9, 10 years old, and I'd go sit on the front porch and look up at the stars, waiting for God to send me a message. Waiting for an angel to come down and tell me what I was supposed to do. The message never came the way I expected. But it came. It was 1954. Winter. I was 12 years old, and I got this beautiful red and white Schwinn bicycle for Christmas. That bike was everything to me. Me and my friend, we rode our bikes down to the Louisville home show at Columbia Auditorium. There was this black bazaar going on, and we were running around getting free popcorn, free candy, just having fun like kids do. When it was time to go home, my bike was gone. Somebody stole it. I was so upset, so angry. I went looking for the police, and somebody directed me down to this gym in the basement, where a cop named Joe Martin was teaching boys how to box. I walked up to him, half crying, and I said, "Somebody stole my bike, and I'm gonna whoop whoever did it." Mr. Martin looked at me, this skinny little kid with tears in my eyes, and he said, "Well, you better learn how to fight before you start challenging people that you're gonna whoop." That moment changed my life. I started training at that gym the next day. And listen to this. I never found out who stole my bike. I never got that bike back. But losing that bike led me to boxing, and boxing led me to everything else. Sometimes God takes something away from you to give you something better. I lost a bike. I found my purpose. Once I started boxing, I became obsessed. I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the strongest, but I could outwork anybody. I was the first one in the gym every day, and I was the last one to leave. 6 days a week, every week. While other kids were out playing, I was training. While they were eating ice cream and cake, I was drinking water and eating plain food. I gave up everything that felt good in the moment for something that mattered more in the long run. I trained with Joe Martin at first, but most of my real training was with a black man named Fred Stoner. He taught me how to jab, how to move, how to think in the ring. But more than the physical training, I learned something about discipline. I learned that confidence comes from knowing you put in the work when nobody was watching. Every time I stepped in that ring, I knew I'd done more than the other guy. I knew I'd sacrificed more. I knew I'd prepared more. That gave me confidence. Not arrogance. Real confidence. The kind that comes from preparation. Now, here's something people don't understand about all that talking I did. The "I am the greatest," the "I am the most beautiful," the predictions and the poetry. People thought I was just being cocky. But there was a method to it. I learned it from a wrestler named Gorgeous George. I was young, just starting out in boxing, and I did this radio show. Gorgeous George was on before me, talking about a wrestling match he had coming up. The host asked him about the fight, and George said, "I'll kill him. I'll tear his arm off. If this bum beats me, I'll crawl across the ring and cut off my hair. But it's not going to happen because I'm the greatest wrestler in the world." Man, that made an impression on me. I couldn't wait to see that match. I didn't even care who won. I just wanted to see what would happen. Me and 1,000 other people went to that match. He sold out the arena. And I thought to myself, this is a good idea. So I started doing the same thing. I am the greatest. I'm the most beautiful. I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. If you talk jive, you'll fall in 5. I started writing poetry before fights. Critics said my poems were terrible, that they were the ravings of a madman. I told them my poetry would be quoted more than any of the poems they liked. And you know what? I was right. But here's what I learned. Words have power. When you speak something with conviction, when you back it up with action, when you believe it in your heart, it starts to become real. I wasn't lying when I said I was the greatest. I was speaking my future into existence. People ask me, were you ever scared before a fight? Of course I was scared, but I learned that confidence and fear can exist at the same time. You can be scared and still step forward. You can doubt yourself and still declare your greatness. The declaration comes first. The manifestation comes after. Let me tell you about one more thing that shaped me. When I got ready to fight Sonny Liston for the heavyweight championship, I met a man who changed my life. His name was Malcolm X. Malcolm became my spiritual advisor. He became my friend. He was one of the most feared men in America, but to me, he was just a brother who understood what I was trying to do. When Malcolm came to my training camp in Miami before the Liston fight, he talked to me about David and Goliath. He said, "You're David. Liston is Goliath. The world thinks Goliath is going to kill David, but David has something Goliath doesn't have. David has faith. David has purpose. David has God on his side." That's when I understood something. This wasn't just a boxing match. This was about proving that faith and preparation could defeat size and fear. This was about showing the world that a young black man who believed in himself could shake up everything they thought they knew. On February 25th, 1964, I stepped into the ring with Sonny Liston. The odds were 8-1 against me. People said he was going to kill me. Literally, kill me. He destroyed Floyd Patterson twice. He was a monster. But I knew something they didn't know. I knew I'd prepared more than him. I knew I was faster than him. I knew God was with me. And I knew I was going to win. In the 7th round, Sonny Liston quit. He wouldn't come out of his corner. I won the heavyweight championship of the world. I was 22 years old, and I told the world. I shook up the world. I am the greatest. Now, I've told you the stories. I've shown you where I came from. But stories don't change your life unless you extract the lessons from them. So let me break down exactly what I learned about building confidence and how you can apply these same principles in your own life. The first thing you need to understand is this. Real confidence don't come from looking at your circumstances and feeling good about them. If I had built my confidence on my circumstances, I never would have had any. Real confidence comes from faith. Faith in God. Faith in your purpose. Faith that you were put here for a reason, even if you don't know what that reason is yet. From the time I was a little boy, I had this feeling inside that I was meant for something special. I didn't have any evidence of it. I didn't have any proof. My circumstances sure didn't suggest it. But I had faith. My mother taught me to have faith in God. And once you have faith in God, you can have faith in yourself. Because you understand that you're not alone. You understand that there's a power working through you that's bigger than you. See, a lot of people try to build confidence by looking at what they've accomplished. I'm confident because I did this. I'm confident because I have this. But what happens when you lose what you accomplished? What happens when someone takes away what you have? That's why you got to build your confidence on something that can't be taken away, and the only thing that can't be taken away is your faith in who you are inside. They took my title. They took my license to box. They took away the best years of my career. They tried to put me in prison, but they couldn't take my confidence because my confidence wasn't built on any of that. My confidence was built on knowing who I was in God's eyes and knowing that I was living according to my beliefs. Here's what I want you to do. Stop looking at your circumstances as the source of your confidence. Start looking at your faith. Start looking at your purpose. Start looking at who God made you to be, not what the world has given you or taken away. When you build your confidence on faith, nobody can shake it. When you build it on circumstances, every setback destroys it. Faith is the foundation. Everything else is just decoration. Now let me tell you about the second lesson. I am the greatest. I said it before, I believed it, and I said it so many times that it became true. People don't understand this. They think you have to feel confident before you can speak confident. That's backwards. You speak confidence until you feel it. When I was just starting out, I wasn't the greatest. I hadn't proven anything yet. But I started declaring it anyway. And you know what happened? The more I said it, the more I believed it. The more I believed it, the more I worked to make it true. The more I worked, the more evidence I had that it was true. And then it became true. This is not lying to yourself. This is speaking your future into existence. There's a difference, and the difference is this. When you're lying to yourself, you're just saying words without any intention of backing them up. When you're speaking your future into existence, you're making a declaration that you're going to work to fulfill. I never just said, I am the greatest and sat on the couch eating ice cream. I said, I am the greatest, and then went to the gym and trained harder than everybody else. I said, I am the greatest, and then stepped into the ring and backed it up. Words have power, but only when they're connected to action and faith. So here's what I want you to do. Start declaring who you're going to become. Not who you are right now, who you're going to become. Say it out loud. Say it when you wake up. Say it before you go to sleep. Say it when you're scared. Say it when you doubt yourself. I am strong. I am capable. I am meant for greatness. I will not be stopped. Say it until you believe it. Then work until you prove it. Your words create your reality, but only if you back them up with action. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Speak it, then live it. Now let me tell you the real secret of how I had so much confidence in the ring. It wasn't magic, it was preparation. I knew, before I stepped in that ring, that I had done more work than my opponent. I knew I had trained longer, sacrificed more, studied harder. When you know you've prepared, you can't help but be confident. A lot of people want confidence without preparation. They want to feel good about themselves without putting in the work. That's not confidence. That's delusion. And delusion crumbles the first time you face a real challenge. I was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. I gave up parties. I gave up staying out late. I gave up all the foods I loved. I ran when I was tired. I trained when I didn't feel like it. I pushed my body past what I thought was possible. And when I stepped into that ring, I knew something my opponent didn't know. I was more prepared than him. And that knowledge gave me confidence that nothing could shake. Here's what I learned. Confidence is not a feeling that just shows up. Confidence is the natural result of preparation. When you prepare, confidence comes as a side effect. So if you want more confidence, stop trying to feel more confident. Start preparing more. Study more. Practice more. Work more. Prepare your mind. Prepare your body. Prepare your spirit. And here's the other part of preparation that people miss. You got to prepare your mind for the challenges you're going to face. I didn't just train my body. I trained my mind. I visualized the fight before it happened. I saw myself winning. I predicted which round I would win in. 17 out of 21 times, my predictions came true. You think that's a coincidence? No. That's visualization. That's mental preparation. I saw it in my mind before I saw it in reality. So prepare your body, prepare your mind, prepare your spirit, and when the moment comes, your confidence will be there waiting for you. Confidence is just preparation that's been tested and proven. Without preparation, you got nothing. With preparation, you got everything you need. Here's something nobody tells you about confidence. The real test of confidence is not when everybody's cheering for you. The real test is when everybody's against you and you still stand up for what you believe. When I refused to go to Vietnam, I lost everything. They stripped me of my heavyweight title. They took away my license to fight in every state. They took my passport so I couldn't fight overseas. They tried to put me in prison for 5 years. The Nation of Islam, the organization I had joined, turned their back on me. Most of America hated me. People who used to cheer for me now booed me. I lost the best years of my career. From age 25 to 28, I couldn't fight. Those are the prime years for a boxer. They took that away from me. But you know what they couldn't take? My dignity, my faith, my belief in myself, my confidence in the decision I made. Because my confidence wasn't built on people's approval. My confidence was built on knowing I was doing what was right for me, what my faith told me to do, what my conscience told me to do. A lot of people have confidence when everybody's on their side. But what happens when everybody turns against you? That's when you find out if your confidence is real or if it's just built on other people's opinions. I learned that if you stand for what you believe, even if you stand alone, you're still standing. And there's a different kind of confidence that comes from that. A deeper confidence, a confidence that can't be shaken because it don't depend on anyone else. Here's what I want you to understand. Don't build your confidence on people's approval. Build it on your values. Build it on your faith. Build it on doing what's right even when it's hard. Because when you can stand alone and not fall, that's when you know your confidence is real. When the whole world turns against you, and you still stand up, that's when you become unshakable. That's when you become free. A lot of people talk about confidence, but they're really talking about approval. They're confident when people like them. They're confident when people agree with them. That ain't confidence. That's dependency. Real confidence means you don't need anybody's permission to be who you are. I had dyslexia. Letters would jump around on the page. I could barely read. Writing was hard, spelling was hard, school was a struggle for me. Teachers thought I was stupid. Now, most people would say, that's a weakness. That's a disadvantage. And you know what? It was. But I learned something. Your weakness can become your strength if you let it. Because I couldn't learn the way other people learned, I had to find a different way. I learned by listening. I learned by memorizing. I learned by watching people. I learned by feeling my way through situations instead of reading about them in a book. And you know what? That made me better at reading people. That made me better at instincts. That made me better at trusting my gut. In the ring, I could feel what my opponent was going to do before he did it. I didn't need to study some manual. I could feel it. My weakness forced me to develop other strengths, and those other strengths made me who I was. So here's what I want you to do. Stop looking at your weaknesses as things that disqualify you. Start looking at them as things that can shape you into something unique. The world don't need another person who's good at what everybody's good at. The world needs somebody who develops skills that nobody else has because they had to find a different way. Your weakness is only a weakness if you let it stop you. But if you use it to develop something else, it becomes your advantage. I always say, God don't make mistakes. If you got a weakness, there's a reason. Maybe that weakness is forcing you to develop something else. Maybe that weakness is teaching you compassion. Maybe that weakness is making you work harder than everybody else, and that work ethic becomes your real strength. Don't curse your weakness, use it, transform it, let it make you into something special. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. I was scared before fights. Not every fight, but some of them, especially the big ones. People think confidence means you're never afraid. That's not true. Confidence means you move forward even when you're afraid. When I fought Sonny Liston for the heavyweight title, people were saying he was going to kill me, literally kill me. He was a monster. He had destroyed Floyd Patterson twice. Nobody thought I had a chance. The odds were 8-1 against me. Was I scared? Yeah, I was scared, but I also believed I was going to win. Both things were true at the same time. See, fear is natural. Fear is your body's way of telling you something important is happening, but confidence is what you do in spite of the fear. I stepped in that ring with Sonny Liston, and in the 7th round, he quit. He wouldn't come out for the next round. I shook up the world, and I did it while being scared. So stop waiting for fear to go away before you take action. Stop waiting to feel 100% confident before you step forward. You move forward with the fear, you take action in spite of the doubt. And on the other side of that action, you find that your confidence grows. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is action in the presence of fear. Every time you do something that scares you, every time you step forward in spite of the doubt, you build your confidence muscle. It gets stronger, it gets bigger, until eventually you can face almost anything without breaking. But you got to start. You got to take that first step while you're still scared. That's where confidence is born. Now you know the principles, you understand the lessons, but knowledge without application is useless. So I'm going to give you the specific practices, the things you can start doing today to build the kind of confidence that can't be shaken every single day. As soon as you wake up, before you do anything else, I want you to speak life into yourself, not in your head, out loud. Stand in front of a mirror if you can. Look yourself in the eyes and declare who you are and who you're becoming. Here's what you say. I am strong. I am capable. I am meant for greatness. I will not be stopped by fear. I will not be moved by doubt. I am prepared for today's challenges. I walk in faith, not in fear. I am becoming who God created me to be. Say it out loud every morning. Before you check your phone, before you read the news, before you let the world tell you who you tell yourself who you are. This is not magic. This is reprogramming. You've been programmed by the world, by your past, by people's opinions. Now you're reprogramming yourself with truth. Do this for 30 days. Just 30 days. And watch how it changes the way you move through the world. You'll walk different, you'll talk different, you'll carry yourself different. Because you're starting each day by declaring truth over yourself instead of letting the world declare lies over you. Every day, spend at least 1 hour preparing yourself. Not preparing for one specific thing. Preparing yourself as a person. Read something that challenges your mind. Study someone who's good at what you want to be good at. Practice a skill. Work on your body, work on your spirit, work on your craft. 1 hour every single day. Non-negotiable. No excuses. This is how you build the foundation of confidence. Because when the moment comes, when the opportunity shows up, when the challenge presents itself, you'll be ready. And knowing you're ready is what gives you confidence. Most people wait for the moment and then try to prepare. That's backwards. You prepare before the moment comes. And when it comes, you're ready. I spent years preparing for the championship fight. Years. When the moment came, I was ready. That's why I was confident. Not because I was naturally confident, because I was naturally prepared. Find one thing, just one thing, that you believe in, strongly. Something that matters to you. Something that's bigger than you. It could be a cause. It could be a principle. It could be a value. It could be a dream. And then, I want you to take one action this week that demonstrates your commitment to that thing. Even if it's small, even if it's scary, even if people don't understand, stand for something. Because when you practice standing for something small, you develop the courage to stand for something big when it matters most. And every time you stand for what you believe, even when it's uncomfortable, your confidence grows. Because you prove to yourself that you're not controlled by other people's opinions. You prove to yourself that you can stand alone if you have to. I stood for my religious beliefs when it cost me everything. But I started by standing for smaller things. By speaking up when I saw injustice. By refusing to be what other people wanted me to be. Each time I stood for something, I got stronger. Each time I stood alone, I got more confident in my ability to stand alone again. You build this muscle by using it. Start small if you have to, but start when someone criticizes you, doubts you, or tells you that you can't do something. I want you to do what I did. Use it as fuel. Don't get angry. Don't get defensive. Don't waste energy trying to prove them wrong in the moment. Just smile, say thank you for the feedback, and then go work harder. Every critic I ever had made me better. Every person who said I couldn't do something gave me more motivation to prove them wrong. Not to them, to myself. The critics said my poetry was terrible, so I wrote more poetry. The critics said Sonny Liston would kill me, so I trained harder. The critics said I was un-American for refusing to go to Vietnam, so I stood stronger in my beliefs. So take the criticism, take the doubt, take the rejection, and turn it into fuel for your preparation. Let them doubt you. Let them criticize you. Let them say you'll never make it. Then prove them wrong by becoming exactly what you said you'd become. Every night before you go to sleep, I want you to do two things. First, think about 3 things you're grateful for from that day. Speak them out loud. Thank God for them. This keeps your heart right. This keeps you from becoming arrogant or bitter. Second, review the day. Ask yourself, did I live according to my values today? Did I prepare? Did I move forward in faith or backward in fear? Did I stand for what I believe? Did I speak life into myself and others? Don't beat yourself up if you failed. Just acknowledge it, learn from it, and commit to doing better tomorrow. This practice keeps you honest. It keeps you growing, and it builds the kind of confidence that comes from living with integrity. See, confidence without gratitude becomes arrogance. Confidence without self-reflection becomes delusion. You gotta stay humble while building yourself up. You gotta stay honest while declaring your greatness. That's the balance. That's the key. These 5 practices are simple. But simple don't mean easy. Simple means you can do them, but you have to do them every day, with discipline, with faith, with commitment. Do these 5 things for 30 days, and I promise you'll see a change. Not just in how you feel, but in how you show up in the world. People will notice, opportunities will come. Challenges won't shake you the way they used to, because you're building real confidence, the kind that lasts, the kind that can't be taken away. Let me bring this home. I told you at the beginning that I built my confidence from nothing. And I meant that. I started with poverty. I started with prejudice. I started with a learning disability. I started with people telling me I would never amount to anything. But I also started with faith. I started with a mother who showed me dignity. I started with a father who showed me pride. I started with a feeling in my heart that I was meant for something special. And I built on that foundation, brick by brick, day by day, through discipline, through preparation, through standing alone when I had to, through speaking my future into existence before I could see it. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to be born confident. You don't need to have all the advantages. You don't need everybody to believe in you. You just need 3 things: faith in God, in your purpose, in yourself, discipline to do the work when nobody's watching, courage to stand up for what you believe even when you stand alone. That's it. Those 3 things will build the kind of confidence that nobody can take away from you. I lost my title. I lost my money. I lost years of my career, I lost my health, but I never lost my confidence, because my confidence wasn't built on any of that. My confidence was built on who I was inside, on my faith, on my values, on knowing I lived according to my beliefs. So here's my final word to you. Stop waiting for confidence to show up. Start building it. Do the work. Speak the words. Stand for something. Prepare yourself, and trust that God is working through you even when you can't see it. You are not nothing. You are something special. You were put here for a purpose, and that purpose is big enough to require all the confidence you can build. So build it, starting today, starting now. I am Muhammad Ali, and I believe in you. Now go shake up your world. If this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more truth like this. Give it a like if it helped you see something different in yourself, and drop a comment below. Tell me what you're going to do differently starting today. Tell me what you're building. Tell me what you're standing for. I want to hear from you, because we're all in this together. And your confidence builds my confidence. Your victory builds my victory. Your faith builds my faith. Peace be upon you. God bless you. And remember, you are the greatest that you're going to become. Start believing it. Start speaking it. Start living it.